You're 22, fresh out of school with an electrical engineering degree, and you're sitting at your desk wondering what comes next. The textbooks are closed. The late night problem sets are over. Now what? 4 months of job applications stretch ahead of you. Cover letters and interviews and waiting by your phone. But there's something else growing quietly in the back of your mind. An obsession, really. Energy. Solar panels catching morning light. Electric vehicles humming through city streets. The power grid. That invisible web connecting it all. You can't stop thinking about it. How electricity moves through the world. How it could move better. You don't know it yet, but this quiet fascination will shape everything. The companies you'll join, the projects you'll build, the problems you'll solve at 3 in the morning. This is the next 10 years of your life.
Level 1. Junior Engineer.
At this level, you're making $58,000 to $72,000 a year. Your first day at Sunburst Solar, they hand you a circuit diagram that looks like hieroglyphics drawn by a caffeinated spider. Zero context, zero guidance. Just figure it out. You spend your lunch break in your car questioning every life choice that led to this moment. But here's the thing about patterns. Once you see one, you start seeing them everywhere. That mess of lines and symbols slowly transforms into something readable. You learn that residential solar isn't just about slapping panels on roofs. There are inverters to size, electrical codes to follow, utility interconnections that actually matter. Your first paycheck hits different than any summer job ever did. Real money for real work. You immediately open a high-yield savings account because suddenly you care about interest rates and compound growth. Look at you, being responsible. The installations get easier. You stop double-checking every wire connection. Stop asking your supervisor if the voltage readings look normal. The homeowners start treating you less like the nervous kid with the clipboard and more like, well, an engineer. Then comes that Tuesday afternoon on the Martinez family's roof. 110-degree heat, sweat dripping onto safety glasses, but the system is finally ready. You flip the disconnect switch. The monitoring display flickers to life. Green lights across the board. Kilowatts flowing. Grid tied and generating. Mrs. Martinez asks if everything looks good. You check the readings one more time, watching clean electricity flow from photons to her kitchen appliances, and you realize something shifted. Not just in the system, in you. You did that. You turned sunlight into power. You solved actual problems that matter. The kid who couldn't read a schematic 3 months ago just commissioned a solar array that'll run for decades.
Level 2. Mid-Level Engineer.
At this level, you're making $82,000 to
$105,000 a year.
The utility-scale solar project feels like stepping into a different universe. 20-person engineering team, meetings that reference standards you've never heard of, acronyms flying around like confetti. For 6 weeks, you're that person again, nodding along, hoping nobody asks you a direct question. But something shifts. You stop waiting for someone to hand you the answers. The interconnection process, how these massive solar arrays actually connect to the grid. It's this critical thing that everyone talks about, but nobody's written down properly. So you do it. Late nights, pulling together specs, utility requirements, approval workflows. 3 weeks of documentation that probably should exist somewhere but doesn't. Then your project manager pulls up your document in the team meeting, shares his screen, scrolls through your work like it's the official reference guide, which apparently it now is. 6 months in, you walk into your boss's office with a 2-page document. Market research, your contributions, a specific number. The raise negotiation takes 12 minutes. Done. You start putting money into index funds. Boring ones, the kind Reddit would mock. But watching those numbers grow each month, even slowly, there's something deeply satisfying about money working while you sleep. Weekends find you at your friend's cabin, helping wire their off-grid solar setup. 12-volt systems, battery banks, charge controllers. Your hands know what they're doing now. The work flows. Back at the office, job site visits become different. You're not just following around senior engineers anymore. You're asking the right questions, catching things others miss, walking with purpose instead of just trying not to trip over conduit. The hard hat doesn't feel borrowed anymore. The safety vest fits. When electricians have questions about the design, they come to you first, not your boss. You're becoming the person who knows things, not everything. That imposter feeling still creeps in during complex technical reviews. But enough. Enough to be useful. Enough to be trusted with real responsibility. The work is starting to feel less like survival and more like building something.
Level 3, Senior Engineer.
At this level, you're making $115,000 to $140,000 a year. The work feels stable, predictable even. You're deep into senior engineer territory now. Complex projects, technical leadership, the kind of problems that require both expertise and judgment. But something starts catching your attention during industry conferences and trade publications. Small municipalities struggling with grid modernization. They need the work done, but the big consulting firms price them out. A 20,000 person township can't justify a $250,000 engagement. You start running numbers casually, nothing formal, just scribbling calculations during lunch breaks. What would it actually cost to do this kind of work efficiently? How much could a small town reasonably budget? Then it happens. A township engineer you know mentions their exact problem over coffee. You offer to take a look, evenings and weekends, just to help out, except they insist on paying you. First client. The second comes from a referral. Then a third. Your evenings start filling up with power system analyses and grid assessments. Small projects, but real ones. You have the conversation with your partner that you've been avoiding. The late nights, the weekend site visits, the phone calls during dinner. They're supportive but want to understand where this is heading. That's when you look at your savings account and realize something unexpected. 12 months of runway. Maybe more if you're careful. You built it without really trying, just by living below your means and letting automatic transfers do their work. So you're here now, standing at a crossroads that appeared gradually, then all at once. The numbers aren't comfortable. They never are when you're staring at steady income versus uncertainty. But they're not impossible either. The skills are proven, the runway exists. What you do next? That's the choice that changes everything. At this level, you're making $90,000 in your first year as an owner. It's less than your corporate salary, but it's yours. You hand in your notice on a Tuesday. No dramatic exit, no speech. Just a conversation with your manager and a stack of transition documents. You sit in your car afterward in the parking lot, engine off, wondering, okay, now what? The first month is slower than you expected. You spend 2 hours figuring out how to format your first invoice. You undercharge because asking for real money feels strange when it's your name on the proposal. You develop a morning walk routine because the silence of working alone is louder than you thought. But something shifts when you start presenting to municipal planning committees. These aren't polished corporate presentations. These are your ideas, your calculations, your reputation on the line. The questions come fast, and you realize you know the answers. 6 months in, you hire your old university classmate, same guy who used to copy your circuit analysis homework. Now he's copying your business model, and you don't mind because there's enough work for both of you. Late one night, finishing a proposal for a major transit project. You order food and talk about where this is all heading. The numbers are bigger now. 180,000, maybe 250 by year 3 if the pipeline holds. 2 years later, you're standing on a rooftop downtown. Different city, bigger system, more zeros on the contract. Your name is printed on every page of the proposal. Below, the same type of monitoring screen you once watched as an intern blinks from amber to green. The power flows. The lights stay on. The city keeps moving. This time, you built the system that makes it all work.
After 3 years of running the firm, you are making $250,000 a year and growing.
Looking back, there wasn't one moment that changed everything. No mentor who pulled you aside, no project that made your career, just 1,000 small choices that added up. Pay attention during the boring meetings. Show up to the job before you feel qualified. Run the numbers honestly, even when they don't support what everyone wants to hear. The path from junior engineer to wherever you are now, it's messier than the LinkedIn posts make it seem. More doubts, more pivots, more figuring it out as you go. But that's actually the point. You don't wait until you're ready. You just keep showing up. The electrical engineering world needs people who think clearly and aren't afraid of hard problems. Maybe that's you.
Thank you for watching. Comment what types of videos you want to see next.